Welcome to the first edition of a new show we're going to be having here on SPAC called Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Bill D'Amelia, president of the newly formed Shrewsbury Gridiron Club. And with me today is head football coach at Shrewsbury High, Terry Wallace. Terry, welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
First show, a lot of excitement. I know we've got a lot of people wondering what it's going to be all about.
What we're trying to do is just have a little excitement here about Shrewsbury football. And we talked about possibly bringing on some of my assistant coaches and players each week to kind of get their perspective of what we're trying to do. And I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Welcome to the penultimate Coach's Corner. Joining us here tonight, we have a whole cast of people. Of course, the 328 team, Bobby, Billy, Nick, and I. We've been doing it for 25 years, so we're having this show as kind of the final football show, maybe ever. That's what we think, anyways. So we invited the coach that started it all with us is Terry Wallace for the first 15 years, right? 15?
16.
Close, John. Close. And John.
You get old.
I know. John Aloisi for the last 9 years. And behind him, you have Jay Costa, who's been the AD just about the whole time. Gordy was
in the beginning.
a year or two in the beginning, right?
When did you start,
yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, Gordy
What year
was,
did you start?
As
AD?
AD, 06.
06.
Oh, so the first 4 or 5 years, I said. And next to him, that handsome gentleman in the corner over there, is the #1 guest
of Coach's
of
Corner.
Coach's Corner. He's been on for basketball, baseball, football,
As a player.
as a player,
Yeah.
as a coach for baseball and basketball
And football.
and football. What else? I mean, he's on all the time.
When we go, he's going to host the show.
Yeah, he should
I
come and do it.
Could host the show.
I think he was a part of the chess
Change-
club, too.
Don't call it Coach's Corner. Call it Sports with Lee Diamantopoulos.
He's been on more shows
Yeah.
than he completed passes.
Oh,
How many minutes?
That was not me.
Minute 40.
Wait.
And already a
That was not me.
Minute 40, had the over.
Like the over.
so first of all, we did get a win on Friday against Terry's current team, and Sean Mulcahy. We went up to Dart. It was a great football game. Back and forth, a lot of pounding. When you guys got the, honest to God, when you got the ball at the 20, whatever it was, 29, with about a minute 49 left, I went, oh my God, this is very scary.
Yeah.
Because I know you, and I know the history there.
You know what made me laugh? I'm listening to the broadcast, and you guys, will he go for 2? Are you guys
No. Wait a minute. No, I was asking. Because
We knew.
And someone said, well, Coach Mulcahy's the head coach. Yep, he's the head coach, but no.
Yeah,
I was saying option because I have a history.
It was going to be optional.
In fact, I said,
So it would have been optional.
in fact, I think Terry just called Dutch.
We did say that.
Said he was going to go for 2.
Love Dutch. I don't know if he goes for 2. But yeah, we were. And, it was a great game. John, Shrewsbury's team's always solid, and we knew that going in. And physical game, we threw the ball a lot more than they did, but their running attack's fabulous. They do a great job with schematic stuff and everything like that. And, we moved the ball, but you don't get points for moving the ball. You get points for putting it in the end zone. And they bent, but they didn't break when it counted. And HT did a great job of calling the D for them. And, great high school football game. It's like, you looked at a game like that, you didn't want either team to lose because it was, both teams played really well. But, they did, and they had a couple more plays than us on Friday and deserved to win.
But saying this, all right, it was a great game for it to be John Mastro's last football game that he called. I felt good for him because he had both coaches, on both ends.
Right.
And it came right down to the last second. It didn't end until the clock ran out.
Right.
And my 2 buddies, Jet and Romano, at the end of the game, they came over and we took a picture. It's the smallest I've felt in 35 years.
I saw the picture.
Did you see the picture?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God, those guys
You did
are
look small next to those guys.
They're humongous. But I'll give you a little background on them. Jet's sister plays, she's a sophomore, she plays on the field hockey team.
Okay.
She's good. I mean, I haven't seen anybody hit the ball that hard in field hockey probably ever. So they used to come up and they'd sit around, we'd talk and shoot the, while we're watching the game, because in field hockey, once we announce, all we do, Bobby, is announce at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, score. Yeah.
And they would sit there and say, "Oh, I love listening to you," and you and Mr. O, and it's just fun. It was great. It was great that they came over, take that picture. It meant a lot to me.
Yeah, as it should.
There we go.
What was the under?
We,
First team was the under.
350 in the first tier.
But it did. It meant a lot because
Actually, it was 450. I had.
yeah, Terry would
ran.
have taken 3 timeouts by now.
You did have a couple in a row.
We had the over-under going on
What's that
that
running
too,
going like 5 minutes for that? Terry leaves the show in less than 10 minutes. I got the under now.
Yeah.
No, but the reason it was so special to me is because we've said it since day one. Yeah, we had fun. Yeah, we loved teasing each other on the air and giving each other a hard time. But when it came right down to it, it was always about the kids. The first 4 years, we watched Tommy Crossman and Chris Lynch and Billy O and Lee. We watched them grow up. They went from little babies
Yeah, right.
to these
Well,
grown men.
we had him in Little League.
I know.
That's where it all started.
I know.
And then they got into high school and
And now look at them.
I know.
They're old and getting gray. I was thinking
No
today,
hair on Scullum.
we were their age when we started
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
How
Right?
scary is that?
That is scary. We were their age when we started all this.
Yeah,
And
That's right.
yeah.
Wow.
they've always been the most important part. I'll never forget. I love telling this story. Chris Lynch, when he first came on, that red hair and that round face, he was a baby. He was a freshman. Remember his senior year? He came
Yeah,
on,
he could have been
and he
coaching.
sat next to you right here,
Yep.
and he started explaining something to me, and I sat there and I went like this. What is he talking about? What like you two would talk together.
Yep.
That's how he was talking to me. It was like he was a coach on the field as the captain. It was
John
fabulous.
gets players like that now too. Same thing.
No,
The kids
I know.
grow into seniors, and before you know it, they're ready for college.
We don't see as many back then, the young kids were the core of the team. Now we've got all the older kids, you've got seniors, and we make sure they all get on and everything. But how many freshmen do we start?
6.
8 on that last Thanksgiving.
Yeah, against Milford.
And a freshman won the defensive MVP, right?
Yeah, quarterback completed a bunch of passes as a sophomore too.
Yes, he
Lee
did.
Diamantopoulos.
Yes, he
Did
did.
you hear that, Billy?
He did complete
How many?
A lot.
6.
He's got your
Turning
back.
into this side against
He's
that
got your
side.
back.
I'll always have
Good
his
form.
back. No matter what.
Yeah.
Before we get into the games, and we want to talk about their top fives,
Yeah.
both of them.
Right.
I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit to Lee and Jay. Lee, you played for your. Did you play for your father? Your
Oh, yeah.
senior year?
Yeah.
Walked home a few times.
That's right.
No. That was Dean every game.
Oh, Lee.
Those stories are for off the air.
No, but Lee,
You deserved it.
What
Undoubtedly.
I said at the beginning of the show is true. You've been on here as much as the coaches, but not only as a coach, but as a player too. Why don't you just say what this has meant to you personally?
Yeah, well, a lot. I mean, I haven't really reflected a lot about it until like probably the drive over, and I knew it would be a special night, and I was thinking like nowadays, there's so many forums and platforms out there, and when you guys first started all this was really the only platform, and I think that's what made it really special.
Yeah,
for-
there was no huddle back then.
Right, or even Twitter or YouTube and all that stuff. So, I can remember Monday nights, everybody was watching the game when it was broadcasted on, on local access. And, it's really special when you're a kid and you want to hear your name and everything that you guys would say about the game. So I think from how much it obviously means a lot now as well, too, because you guys have grown so much of notoriety over time. No, I meant notoriety. No, like you're out there. Everybody knows who you are, especially in the away games and whatnot. But I think for me, mostly as a player, which does feel like a lifetime ago now. It was the only thing out there, as far as within the community. So, now everybody's on their phones and, watching their own, making their own highlight tapes. I mean, I think for personally, with the best graduation gift I got was Mr. Todisco putting together a highlight film for me, which was an awesome gift. And I don't know, kids make their own highlight, things now from Auto.
In about 3 minutes.
Yeah. So, just how much time you guys gave, I think that's really sticks out in my mind to us and everybody.
Thanks, Lee. That
within
means
the
a
community.
lot.
He did a lot of time in that doing highlight films. He did.
Yes, you did.
Jay, how about you and the effect we've had on the school? And I mean, we made a lot of highlight tapes for kids too over the years. By that I mean kids that were thinking about going to college and wanted to send a film, right? We did that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you look over the years. I mean, you look at the athletic program. We were just, kind of the program that was there. And and I stated this today to someone, was kind of put Shrewsbury on the map for, it started with football. A few years of football, and then all of a sudden you saw that it could get contagious amongst the other sports, and then everyone in the community started feeling involved. So I really feel that you guys did a really great job of getting our kids out there, getting our coaches out there, and exposing the program. And to the point where it wasn't, for a couple of years there too, it wasn't just the Shrewsbury thing. You guys would be at the Chowder Bowl in Springfield, and everyone knew who you were coming in. Other schools, you would bring in other schools, opponents and coaches would talk about, hey, how about those guys? You guys watch cable, and so yeah, I mean, and watch the development over the years of all the kids, and seeing, I think the poster I saw out there earlier, even seeing you guys kind of grow into, the voice of our program. Whether it's on a Friday night or a Wednesday night field hockey game, the kids are excited. So yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been crazy that it's been 25 years though. It seems like yesterday we just started. I remember walking in an interview for him. And,
See,
and
this is
we're doing
exactly how we started every show, right here. That's what the look was on his face.
I'm a serious guy.
No, you aren't.
That was just that first couple of weeks.
He's trying to decide what play to run the Jets through.
I didn't even run one the other
I
day.
know, what happened?
Do you remember the show we had
Yes.
Terry's dad on?
Oh, yeah.
And remember you asked him what you had his dad about the
Yelling
fourth
at him
down?
why you didn't
Oh.
punt.
Do you remember?
See, so let me just bring that up. I'll know, Billy did it. Oh, you gotta have him on. You gotta have him on, because my dad, I talked to him. He'd go to the game. I talked to him on Saturday. We'd win like 35-7. What do you think? He said, why the heck didn't you punt in the third quarter? Like, what? What game did you watch? I go, what are you doing? He's saying it to me. So he came on. So Billy, I can't be like that. So my father was a very shy guy, really. And he says, so how is it? He goes, tell him what he did wrong. I don't care if he won. And it was just like that. And I loved it.
Yeah,
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, it was.
2004 season kind of was really wonky, and he passed that year, and we won a lot of games we probably should have. I'm looking at that. Wow.
That was Chris Bosch's year.
Oh yeah, it was.
He willed us.
We were 7-4. We should have been 2-9.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
should
what we
have been
said,
doing
right?
that. We should have
Yeah.
lost at least 5 games.
3 games in overtime
Yeah,
in 1 year, and win them all.
yep.
Crazy.
He was, John, you obviously weren't around then, but it was like, give it to Chris, put it in his hands, and we won.
Running back.
Yeah, halfback
was a
option
quarterback
passes, all that was
too.
crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
he
It
was
was one of those years that was just.
But then you look at those kids, right? And you look at what both have produced for players and kids that have been on shows. You drive around town, you look at those police cruisers.
Yeah, I know.
The Chris Bosch's, the
Yeah.
Mike Vitos,
Yeah.
Noah Jawares.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Who else we got?
Chris
on the
Vieira.
Chris Vieira.
Tim
a couple-
Finicom.
Tim Finicom. Like just the whole, those kids kind of understood about giving back to the Dylan Zona.
Dylan's
yeah.
on.
Seeing him,
Dylan.
I mean, so that's where I saw the culture of our school change. Having grown up here and going through the program, it really transformed our culture of an athletic program, and it made it a program. Like, a lot of people was like, at first it was football, but what I think what I was psyched about now, 25 years later, was everyone, and that's been pretty
Jeff
cool.
Svensson, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just there's probably a bunch we're missing.
Yeah.
The thing that it just gives me pride, and I know I'm not. I know I went to a different school. Billy went to a different, but we still bleed blue and gold. When when I see Lee and all the kids that came back and coached, my son came back. Mojera is back now.
Billy O.
Yeah.
Billy O came back and I think that's really important.
Well, I think it does, and it shows, you know, I remember when I first came here and, you know, they had gone with your son and they'd gone with Billy D'Amelio, they went to the Super Bowl the year before. And I was getting interviewed and I said, what's your plan? And I said, I'm gonna blow everything up and start over. And like, what do you mean? We just went to the Super Bowl. I said, I'm not interested in 1 year. I'm interested in trying to build a program.
Right.
And we built it from the freshmen up, you know, and we had, you know, I mean, 16 years I was here, we had a lot of success. You know, some years we weren't, you know, as good as we could have been. And then, you know, John's taken it from there, and it's been the same and sometimes even better. So, I mean, it's, you know, and you know, I was very fortunate because I worked for 3 great principals and 2 fabulous Hall of Fame ADs. And I could say that in front of him, in front of McKibben. Gordy was fabulous. You know, people, when I first got hired, Gordy's like, oh, he's a track and field guy. Gordy was much more than a track and field guy. He was great to me, and you know, I let him know about stuff at a time, and I had a fabulous relationship. And then when Jay came,
I think he came to all the games too.
Gordy did. I always got a text from him about stuff, and just a classic guy. And then Jay, you know, who was a coach, has just built it. I mean, Shrewsbury Athletics in the state now is known as one of the higher programs across the state of Massachusetts. I mean, you know, football, all the sports, you know, and so. I look back, and I'm happy that I was part of it. You know, I look at a quarter of my life was here in Shrewsbury. I'm a Worcester guy, but you know, 16 years of my life, you know, I bled blue and gold too. And so every time Shrewsbury does something good in any sports, I'm really happy for them too, because again, you know, a little bit of part of it too in my life, you know.
Now, you were not at the school. You were in a school in Worcester, right?
Right.
When you were coach. John, you're in the school. I think that makes a humongous difference too. I mean, you're with the, no offense, but he's with the kids all the time. You know, I think it makes a difference.
It does, and not just me, but I don't know the number off the top of my head, but we have several guys on my staff that are in the building. Is there 4 or 5?
Yeah.
So it's really critical, especially now. You know, it's like with each passing year, the job gets a little more complicated. You know, in communicating with the kids, keeping tabs on the expectations grow in terms of the position. And even, you know, recruiting kids, like we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
you know, recruiting kids to come out and play. It's just, you have your finger on the pulse of everything that's going on. And I know when Terry was head coach, he had guys in this school that could help with that as well. So no, it's definitely a big plus.
All right, so now we got to get to the fun stuff. Where do you want to start? You want to start with this guy over here, his top 5?
Well, let's. I don't care.
Or how about we?
Yeah, let's bounce back
Yeah,
and forth.
bounce.
So, we already went through all of your 16 top games back in the day, and I know we have them. I don't know if you can still remember them.
Oh,
where you
was
picked your number.
Can they still remember
I
him?
mean, some of us can't remember anything
You want
anymore.
me to tell you what the first place
But
Super
I
Bowl
no,
was?
no.
I'll tell you that.
All right, well, we'll start with Terry, and we'll go back and forth. Let's do it that way.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So what's the question?
So the question is, let's go with the top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Number 5. Go 5 first.
God almighty.
I
don't
know.
It's tough. I was talking to you the other day. I got to like 8 or 9.
It's true.
So top 5, well, I think for the success of the program, and this is one of the games, I don't know what number it was, but I'm going to go with the 1998 Thanksgiving Day game against Milford. At the time, Shrewsbury had played Milford 22 times, and Milford had won 20 out of 22. And we started, how many freshmen did we start there?
8.
8 freshmen.
And we hadn't played.
Hold on a minute.
and
And
we
a
hadn't-
fabulous sophomore quarterback named Lee Diamantopoulos. And we beat Milford 21-3.
And that was huge.
And then that transplanted to 5 more straight. We beat Milford 6 years in a row. So, I mean, all of a sudden, you know, it started to get more even. And we played them 15 times in my career. We won 10. So it's kind of even the score. So that kind of posed, you know, the success going into the following. We go from 3-8 to 10-2. You know, with basically the same kids.
What year was that, Terry?
That was 98, my first year.
98 against Milford.
Yep. So I consider that one of those big games, just for the program as it went forward. You know, we were 1-8 at the time, won our last 2, and then You know, you end up winning 10-1 in the regular season in '99.
You know, looking back though, in '98, our kids were in '97. We were watching Billy D'Amelia and Michael Mastro
Yes.
playing football, and they were enthralled with those guys,
Oh, yeah.
and they wanted to come to Shrewsbury
Yeah.
in mass.
Because they came over and talked to the kids at the high school.
Right.
I mean, over at the middle school. They went
Well, that
over
was
to the high school.
important.
Yeah, it was.
It was important to get those kids to
Well,
come.
no, it was more than important. It was the key because those freshmen, their last 3 years went 30-5, you know, and going to 2 Super Bowls and winning one of them, you know, and you know, Michael, his last high school game was MVP. He carried our team on his back. He refused to lose and stuff. So yes, absolutely. And I think that's without your, you know, Billy and Nick and Chris Lynch and Landon and Mike Maloney, all those guys, Tommy Crossman. I mean, they started it, you know. But when you think back, you know, 30-5 on any level, you know, not too bad. You know,
Not at
all.
yeah.
All right, John. So I know you gave me 6, so you're gonna have a hard. You're gonna have to
You
pick.
can give us 6
I
and
gotta,
5.
I
You can
gotta
give us
remember the
another
ones I
one.
gave you guys. I'm gonna start.
Marc, you have that?
No, it's all right. I can.
You have the list that I gave you?
It's all good.
We have it in the building.
No, it's okay.
Oh.
I got it. I think that
He's got it.
my third year was the game that the district title against Algonquin was a great win at Foley actually 21-14. They beat us early in the year. It was a tough call between that year. We beat we were the 4 seed out of 4 teams in 2016, and we had lost to St. John's earlier in the year, 38-35 in the last minute at Assumption. And we had a rematch with them again at Assumption and ended up beating them 34-28. We had 34-14 after 3, and they came back and scored 2 late. Their kids played one way.
Right.
So as the game was going on, our linemen were 2-way kids that were getting gassed. And
Yeah, yeah.
they were creeping back, but we held on for that 34-28 win. So those two were.
That was the
neck
first
and neck.
ever 328 live game.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, was it
like
really?
that.
It was live.
Which the St. John's playoff game?
Yeah.
On the road.
On the road. Up
We had
at
never
Assumption.
done. We had never done.
We had never done it before. Somebody was trying to sell Mark something, and he said, "Oh yeah, we'll bring the truck." And they
Trying to sell them some new technology
Yeah.
to do. And now we go to all the games.
And just going
Away.
back to your value to the town and to the program, that's been huge. I mean, my mother's a huge football fan. I was just talking to her on the way over, and she's going over the game she watched the other day. So I'm thinking for everyone, for my mother as an example, that how many other mothers or aunts or grandmothers get to watch the game. I mean, that's been really powerful in the last several years. But yeah, it's tough to say that was a phenomenal game for our kids. Actually, with both of those to have lost in the regular season to those teams. Algonquin was very good that year. And truthfully, in that championship, we got up 14. We wanted to come out throwing the ball because they were so good up front. Drew Campanelli made 2 phenomenal throws. We got up 14-0 in that game. I don't know if you guys remember this, but we hung on by a thread. We went for it on 4th and 1 on our own 35-yard line.
I do remember that.
Because-
I love that.
Because we couldn't give the ball back to them. They were starting to lean on us.
You'd go 4th and 11.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was one of the moments when Drew Campanelli came to the sideline. It was 4th and inches, and
Yeah.
and he said, "I said, do you want to run off tackle, no pull power, or do you want to run Q quarterback sneak?" He said, "I sneak." I said, "You know, when we go 2 tight ends, we have a strong tendency to." He said, "I got it." He interrupted me. He said, "I got it. This is a
And a
sophomore." I said, I looked at him. I said, "You got it?" He said, "I got it." I said, "All right." And he's going out to the huddle. They're looking at our personnel. We come out in 2 tight ends. They got 13 guys in the A gap. I'm like, what am I doing? I just put the season in the hands of this kid, and he got the first down. And then we bled a little clock and gave him the ball back, but we picked the ball at the 7-yard line as time expired. So it actually worked out because we were able to chew a little clock, get some field position. They had to drive the field, which they did, and they just ran out of time.
Was that CC's senior year or junior?
That was his junior year. That was his junior year. Yeah, it was
CC was. We've talked about this a million times, but CC was, other than Richard Rogers, CC was the best receiver I've ever seen. All you had to do was throw it within 5 yards of the
but
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okeka.
Okeka. Michael Okeka.
Oh, Michael Okeka was good
He
too.
was.
But Chris was a total package. I mean, there'd be plays during a game when you'd say, "How was that hole so wide open?" And you'd go back and Chris was manhandling someone blocking. and he was just a complete football player.
Yeah.
We put him in Wildcat, and we'd be like, geez, if we didn't have Drew, we could put, it would have been T.J. Welsh.
No, right there.
Exactly.
I got to tell you, you got a player on your team right now that made one of the best catches for a 2-point conversion against Leominster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Lepore.
What a great one-handed
He's got
grab!
good
And it was just you couldn't see
It
it.
was just like,
no
are
one
you
has it on
kidding
camera
me?
because of the.
It was just
Yeah, right.
it was like, it just, huh? Wasn't that
right in
awesome?
front of the pylon. It was-
Yeah.
it was
Great play. Yeah.
Terry, just to clear things up real quick, John went for it, 4th down on a 35.
Yep.
36.
Fitchburg game, John, at the time? Where were you?
You mean the Leominster game?
In Leominster, or was it a Fitchburg?
Fitchburg, you did it too.
I did it
The
some
Terry
time.
Cross.
Our last drive,
Whoa.
our last drive, I think, before Tommy kicked the field goal, I think we had a 4th down on our side of the
Oh, of
field.
course we did.
Was it 20 what? 20,
Oh, no, give the ball to Billy Orfalea. That'd be great. He only had 36 carries in that game. Not a big deal.
36.
Okay, so
4-yard line.
so let me say, you've already changed your
I know.
top
So
five.
what am I talking about?
So the Milford Scarlet Hawks game, it was 16-13. You had that ranked 9th last time.
Yeah,
Now
okay.
it's moved down to 5,
Okay.
which is good. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you got for number 4?
I'm gonna put two games together, like John did. I like John's style. Okay, let's go with the 2007 St. John's game in front of what 6,000-7,000 people,
At least.
and just unbelievable game back and forth. We score with like a minute left. We get a delayed game penalty because we all run out of field and they missed the field goal.
Was that okay, because catch?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was insane because we walk out for pregame at 5:45, and it was
Final
packed.
score was 27-25.
27-25. Yeah,
You caught that ball in the back of the end
he
zone.
did on 4th down.
Yeah, yeah.
I was,
I don't remember though.
I was talking to him on the phone because I was doing inventory. I wasn't there.
So let me tell you the story about that game, which is the game inside the game. So Sean Louiso, who ended up being the Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year on defense, he had been banged up, so he'd just been playing on defense. He's such a great defensive player. So he looks at me, similar to what he did to John, he looks at me, Coach, I'm going in. Go ahead. And I'll never forget, we put the formation into the hash and the strength into the hash and ran speed option to the field. And he made a great block, and Alex got about 30 yards, and then we went down and scored on 4th down. And then I guess you'd have to go, the other two St. John's wins back to back, what John just did, which is great. Love beating St. John's 2 years in a row like he did, and I know he did too. The defensive struggle at Shrewsbury, at St. John's,
John's at 15.
where it was 51 for
46.
46.
Yeah, yeah. They were,
So
That was crazy.
Matt Piccaro, who I love Matt Piccaro. I'll never forget the football gods, okay? We go up 45-28, and he says to me before we kick off, can you imagine we've hung 45 on St. John's, and they run the kickoff back. And then they get an onside kick and score, and then they hold us and score again, so they go ahead. And then I put Jay Reynolds in the game on the kickoff return. And so they kicked it away.
Fastest kid on the team.
No, you're right. I put him in, and they kicked, Zach Dionis. I put Zach Dionis in, and they kicked it to Jay, and he ran it back for a touchdown. And then Garrett had a pick in the end zone. We won 51-46 on a defensive struggle. And then the following year was a defensive struggle. My last year, this guy who loves to pass was in double tight ends, pistol full, running the ball every single play. And we used to call, John, you were like this. So we'd call a play, the only guy that went to the play side was the center. So if we ran 22, the right guard and right tackle was blocking 22, and the left guard and left tackle was blocking 23. So if you're a linebacker, you're seeing two separate blocking schemes coming at you. And how I'd call the play, the last person would get the ball. And I remember Jacob McVeigh
Oh, yeah.
fake to D-Lo, and 9 guys from St. John's tackled D-Lo, and he came out the back end untouched for a 29-yard touchdown. We blocked the field goal to beat them 23-22.
Oh, that was, what was his name? The kid that blocked the field goal. They said he was offside.
He wasn't offsides.
I know he was.
Because we coached it that.
What was his name?
We coached, this is,
Was that Max Nigeria?
yes, yeah, boy, Tom.
Max.
We told our kids, the guys on the edge, you step from one step back in case, because if you have the first step, you won't be offsides. And you watch the film, he takes the step, but he's not offsides.
yeah.
So,
That was a great game.
not bad.
Always loved beating them.
Okay, John. Number 4, 7, and 8.
I have to say, and this is out of respect, the 2018 Doherty game, just because you guys were such a good squad, beat them 35-34. We had scrimmaged them that year at Shrewsbury, and they kicked the dog out of us in the scrimmage. They were so good, and we really felt like we had to play a perfect game. That was the district semis in 2018, and it was 28 all at the half. And only 2 touchdowns were scored in the second half, but we ended up pulling out 35-34. They just had a phenomenal group. We played extremely well.
Did you go for 2, Terry, or did you kick it black? Or what?
No, we went for 2.
Went for 2.
And we did not. No, truth be told, it was 9 minutes to go, and we had a great kicker, and he missed. It was, remember how windy that day was?
Yeah, it was windy.
And he missed a couple kicks, so we went for 2. And the problem was, we called belly load option, and my right guard heard belly, and he pulled right into where we'll option the ball, and I stuffed us. And then, to John's credit, I mean, what a great game. I mean, they were so good. I mean, the running back was it White?
Johnny White.
God, he was
Yeah.
He coaches me now.
Johnny
wow. And the O line was good. Campanella, and just a great.
You
team.
had Callie was a sophomore, right?
Right, and then
Yeah.
Tejon
You had
Bassett.
Tejon,
Tejon had 4 touchdowns.
He was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And you had Johnny, who's the receiver number 1?
John Forsum.
John Forsum.
Chris Yaboa, which
Yeah.
you trapped the heck out of him that whole game.
Well,
Charlie
our
Benson.
whole plan that week, the D tackle.
No, I don't know.
And you took arrow.
We went on multiple counts. We screened him. He was a force.
Yeah, he was very good.
He was he scared us to death.
Yeah, that was a great football
That
game.
really was.
It was a great football. Because they were talking and you're talking.
Yeah, but
it's like we're doing the shit.
Well, because
play by play.
Terry was talking about something, just raise the name.
but
Just like a broadcast.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's okay for him to do it, but when we
Never.
do it,
yeah.
Never.
Oma Bakuzi, is that his name?
Oma Bakuzi
Who?
played for Doherty.
Chris Yaboa.
No, it's Oma Bakuzi.
He was still
He
he
couldn't
played for
pronounce
draft. I couldn't. No, he
Oh,
didn't.
no.
He played for Doherty.
Doherty. It was way
Not
back.
when you were there.
Oh,
No,
it was before
way
you.
back.
okay.
When you were on,
Okay, let's-
I couldn't say his name. He went to
Right.
UConn or something.
Okay. So we left off at number 4, number 3.
What's my number 3?
All right. This is the younger Terry. The younger Terry said that number 3 was Fitchburg Red Raiders, 24-21.
That time.
Playoff game at Foley Stadium. Paul Tizano kicks a 39-yard field
I
goal.
remember that one.
And we're looking at a 4th down and 14 for the Colonials from the Fitchburg 22. Paul Tizano setting up to try a
29, officially 39-yard field goal. Oh my God,
Okay, here we go.
48 seconds
All
left.
comes down to this.
Here it comes.
That's a
Snap,
good
ball
snap.
down, kick is up.
It's long.
Oh,
It's good. It's good.
It's good. It's good. Paul Tizano from 39 puts it through 24-21.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Well, Colonials take the lead.
That was a great game. It was the first playoff game in Central Mass on a Tuesday. And we're at Foley Stadium, which I thought was cool, for me anyway, because, and
Well, you played there.
right. And I'll never forget looking behind, like John will attest to, you don't look in the stands, but I went to get like a drink of water and I looked in the stands and it was absolutely, there was not a seat left. And great game, 7-7 at halftime. We go up by 7, they tie it. We go up by 7, they tie it. And we put a couple plays in. We hadn't run, it was a tough year that year because a good family friend, Courtney Butcher, Jimmy Butcher's daughter, got killed, unfortunately, and we started the courts for Courtney, and I ran it. And I'll never forget telling the kids, I'm sure Damo was there, and I said, look, I committed to this. We're going to practice at 8 o'clock on Saturday night because I committed to this basketball tournament all day, and I did. And Jay got us like what's the place in Northborough? The indoor place?
Yeah,
Our headquarters.
in sports or
We went down there and practiced.
place.
And so I was so giddy. I'd been doing a basketball tournament for 96 teams for 12 hours. And I can't. I said, I got 3 plays that are going to work. We put in fullback screen to Sean Louiso. We did quarterback draw. And then we did like a empty, like sweep play. And they all worked. And then
Who was the quarterback?
Jawad. And so anyways, long story short, we get the ball, we kick a field goal. Paul Tizano, 39 yards. I'm sure people thinking, oh, he can't make this. As clutch as he was, right down the middle. And then the game ended on a Hail Mary pass in the end zone. Remember they threw a pass to Orlando Anderson and a double pass, and he threw it, we knocked it down. So that was that. To be honest with you, we ended up winning the Super Bowl right after that, but that was the Super Bowl for our kids. I mean, Fitchburg was I think undefeated at the time. And
Wasn't there a little skirmish there too?
it sure was.
Yeah, that was a classic story when the next morning when we're standing welcoming the kids at school, we got Brian Regan was our principal at the time. Todd Bizardo was the current principal, was assistant principal, me and a bunch of other people. And Brian's telling the story. Yeah, we got, great game. We had a little fight break out at the end. And my head football coach and principal are sitting here going, gosh darn it, guys, move back. And you got the AD and assistant principal telling kids, beep, beep. He goes, it was just a great atmosphere.
Gosh darn it.
That's a true story.
And I had to go to bad boy school for Terry the next year.
That's funny.
Yeah, he did.
That's funny. That is funny.
Hey, don't worry. We had our troubles with the principal at the school.
Oh yeah.
You know, one game it was against Wachusett. This doesn't fall into this conversation that you guys. But we were playing. I don't know, it was in the very beginning when we were doing it. And Dennis.
Terry was coach.
It was 1999 at Wachusett.
At
And Mario Johnson scored a touchdown in the first quarter, and Billy DeMille
No, the first
No,
play.
first play.
First play.
Turn out the lights, the party's over.
And you got in trouble.
Yeah.
We got us
And
in
then we
trouble.
get called into Dr. Gutekunst's office on Monday morning and had to explain our. And at that point, we were still on the education channel in Shrewsbury.
Oh boy.
But after that, we got taken off the ed channel, and they just kept us on TV
started a new
28. Yeah, we started a new channel.
They moved you over.
Yeah, really.
Get them
Oh,
on.
my God.
Don't get them on. Educational TV.
All right, where do we leave off? Number three?
I think.
John?
So I think the 2019 Wachusett Thanksgiving game, we won in overtime on the last
That was a great
the
game.
last
That was
play
a
of the
great
game.
game.
Yeah, so we were down. They were. I can't remember the records going in. I think we were 6-4, and they were very good. They were 8-2. They were a very good team.
Yeah.
And we were down 14-0 after 3. We hadn't really done much all game. They had stuffed us. They were just extremely big and physical. And we.
Wasn't that Jack Campanelli?
No, that
Oh.
Jack Campanelli was his last year, right, or second to last.
Who was it? Who was the quarterback?
Yeah.
Quarterback that year was Clint Mills.
Oh, yeah.
So we're down 14-0 after
Yeah, I got
3,
it.
and they actually returned a fumble for a touchdown early in the fourth
Wow.
to make it 21-0. But there was a chop block on the return, so that got nullified, called back. So it's still 14-0. We put together a drive to make it 14-7, but still, they were in control of the game. And then TJ Margera, we got the ball back. We had a big stop. He ran a toss left, got bottled up, went all the way back across the field and scored to tie it with 3 minutes to go. 14-all. They drive the field and kick a 20-yard field goal as time expires, but it missed. So we're hanging on by a thread, and we go to 14-14. We go into overtime. We had the ball first. It was 4th and 25. Do you guys remember this? 4th and 25. I didn't know what to call. You'll appreciate this, Terry. So I said,
25.
all right, we're going to run verticals. So we just emptied it out. So they're like 5. We always run 4 verts, not 5. So yeah, just everybody go to the end zone. So Clint scrambled around and threw a seed to TJ, slid and caught it to score
Oh my God.
20-14. And we don't get the 2. So again, I'm nervous because they're so physical.
Oh yeah.
So they run it 3 times, 20-14. They run it 3 times down to the 1, and this is overtime. So it's 4th and 1. Fourth
Can I
and
stop
1.
you?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Wait till he's finished.
I know what he's going to say though. 4th and 1. So like if they score, they're going to kick the PAT, no problem.
Right.
So this is the game. 4th and 1. And Coach HT, to his credit, he said threw Harry Zielinski in a D-tackle, a bigger body. And they ran a straight dive to the halfback out of their T-set. And we stuffed it. I mean, we won the game by 3 inches.
Yeah,
awesome.
And
Yeah, unbelievable.
This is, I get in trouble all the time because I always say, what are these guys thinking? Their fullback was killing us. John, wasn't he? He was killing us. He was 6'2". Yeah, he looked like he weighed 270 pounds. He's killing, every time he touches the ball, he's getting 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards,
We
6
had him
yards.
under control.
They give it to the halfback. They give it to the halfback. Give it to the fullback.
Wait till we get to the West
don't
Indies.
understand it. I don't.
All right.
Hey, Nick?
Yes, we're gonna pause right here because,
Well, yeah, we don't have a phone call, but we do have a special guest.
okay, so why don't you send in the special, so we'll get the last two games, we'll cover those after the special guest comes in. All right, so, special guest.
Oh, look at these guys.
Hey, hi, boys.
Hey. Yep.
Wow.
Oh, thank you very much.
Jet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Just watch it.
Hey, cool.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good game.
No problem. No problem. We should be thanking you guys.
Yeah.
Want to go back?
Thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
What are we on?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Enjoyed it.
Jet. Yeah, okay. We predicted that. I didn't want to.
I'm ready. Thank you.
Guys. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Romano.
He's the tall one.
I got the names
Best part about that is she's done it like 5 times this year.
Guys, thank you.
Give him a big hand, guys.
We do this for you guys, you know that, right?
It's not about anything else, it's always been,
About you
in our
guys.
minds, about you.
And we appreciate it.
I'm assuming all the seniors, are you all seniors?
The whole varsity squad.
The whole varsity?
JV's on.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Second time. Tears are coming.
You know?
He knows, they know.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
All right, you got one more.
Yeah, we got one more game.
One
right?
more.
Don't get it.
Do it.
I'll be watching from New York.
I'll be down on the sideline.
Still got it?
Oh, still on the sideline?
Great hands.
Now we know where Bruce didn't get it.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
It wasn't Nicky.
No.
No,
That's why my ball's there.
Yeah.
fabulous.
Thanks a lot, guys, for
Yeah,
sharing.
Thank
really,
you.
thank you.
My only regret, I don't know how many juniors are here, but, or sophomores, but
You apologize.
I do,
Hey, we
I
got
feel
one
bad.
more, one more coach's corner with these guys.
I know,
So-
I'm saying, though, that I can't follow them through, that's
Oh, yeah.
one of the, we were thinking about doing this in 2020, after 20 years.
I know.
And no, we gotta stay for this one and that one and this one, and I feel bad about that.
He doesn't know we're coming back.
Michael Jordan.
Fake mustache and glasses. We're different people.
We'll see you guys, next week, next
Yeah.
Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, Tuesday night.
Right.
Before they leave, can we try to get everybody that way and get a massive group shot? Thank you.
See you guys next week. All right, so wasn't that great? I mean, you can't beat that, huh?
No, you
You
can't.
get the kids to come out, the seniors,
Can't.
all the varsity players, to make you a crying,
Blubber and
blubbery,
mess.
yeah. That was pretty cool.
Very classy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was.
We gotta thank Jay and for Coach Aloisi for bringing them in tonight.
Yes,
That was
thank
pretty
you
cool.
so much. That
That
was
was nice.
Hey, he's good.
Very nice.
You know, there's always kids that are special to you. I don't know if it's the same way when you coach. It is, because I coached long enough. There is. I mean, the guy sitting behind you is one
You
of
know,
them,
I know, me
to
too.
me, personally.
You don't have to tell me.
And he knows, and he knows why.
Well-
It's a long story about baseball, but he was very important. And then
Jet?
Evan and Jet
Yeah.
this year.
I know.
I mean, you know, when young kids come up and talk to an old fat about football.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
I do.
Yeah.
And
And Chet, his parents, great people.
Yeah,
Great,
yeah.
great.
Marc's with John, and he was in Westboro a long time. His mom's a great lady too. Carries.
It's been like this for 25 years. It's not, I mean, it's been, for us, it's been a love story with the kids at Shrewsbury High. And, and it's not just the boy. I mean, football has been one of our favorite sports. I won't lie to you, but
Sure.
I mean, even the girls sports at the high school are just as important to us. We've had just as many great, female athletes at the high school as there have been guys, and we've talked about them, and it means a lot to us. So, thanks, Lee. Thanks for being here tonight. Anyway, so let's get back on where we were. We left off after some top. So now we're going to get down to the top two for you, the top two for you. Okay, so why don't we start with the top two with John?
So I wasn't going in any particular order, but I have to say, thinking in the recent years, so we had the overtime with Wachusett, and I said on the list that tied with our 2021 win at Wachusett as well. We won 14-13. In similar fashion, we actually blocked a PAT, and they missed a field goal in the final quarter. Again,
They had a great quarterback.
They had a great quarterback.
Which you? I'm sorry, I missed that.
The 2021 game at Wachusett,
Oh, yeah.
14-13 game.
Awesome.
You had to hold them to 13 points. Was they went.
Who made the play? I can't remember.
The block PAT was
No, the interception.
Interception.
Oh, AJ Hamp, wasn't it?
It-
I
Yeah.
think you're thinking of the same game.
No,
So
different
AJ
game.
made the reception. It was
Oh,
it was
right.
3rd and 10 with a couple of minutes to go. So we decided to either run the clock out and punt,
right.
or go for the first. The first down would end the game.
Yep.
Right.
Play conservatively, run it and kick it, but we didn't want to give that kid the ball.
Yep.
So we threw the ball, and it was covered up. It was some sort of boot version, and AJ made a great catch behind somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that essentially, it was
what it
again
was.
gutsy call if it works, stupid if it didn't, because then
Yeah, because then we would have punted and
they would have had but we had to go for the gamble just because they
He
were
was
so.
hurt too, John, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Well, he was
leading up
coming
to that
back.
game?
See, I
An
thought,
injury.
that was his first game back,
Right.
I
wasn't
think
it?
so.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was sort of like even the game the other day. You're playing against a really strong offense that's moving it on you. You don't want to give them the ball back.
Right, right,
especially that Tucker McDonald was,
Oh, he was
phenomenal. So
phenomenal.
to hang on for that win, and Coach HT had just had a baby. So 3 weeks earlier, we didn't think we were going to have him for the game, but he came back for the game, which was great. And it all worked out. It was a really,
Well, see,
again, I would
thought
say
it was
another
an
up
interceptions. That's right. It was
Yeah,
a catch.
it was a
catch. It was a third. It was a third, and I think 8 or 10. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so I have to say that was again. I'm just thinking in no particular order, but that one was up there as well.
Okay. Terry, your top two, though. So back when we did this, you said that your number two was the St. John's Pioneers, which you already used for number 4. So for this one here, number 4 was, so number 2 tonight might be the Super Bowl versus Westfield.
All right, but before I get to the 2 Super Bowls, can I go to 2 other games real quick?
We
not
knew we were going to do this.
Yeah.
So-
Really.
You'll really like this one. And
We're
so
gonna have
will
to
you.
charge
It's
a delay a game.
delay the game. Never happened to me, not once. Never called a timeout. No delay games in my-
Back-to-back timeouts.
Although on Friday I had it first. I'm going no huddle. They called the delay game penalty. And that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
No,
I did ask
like-
if you had any
It was
delay
like
game
12
penalty.
seconds.
well, I had 2. We're going no huddle. I don't know. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah. Okay.
The
go.
2 games I got to mention are the one where we played Fitchburg High School, up at Fitchburg High School in 2001. They had just lost in overtime 2 weeks in a row to Zavarian and Brockton, so they weren't too happy. And we went up there, and we had a really good team, and we trailed for 43 minutes and 53 seconds. And Tommy Crossman had ice water in his veins and kicked a field goal. We won 32-31.
Wow.
In the game, John, listen to this. They scored 5 touchdowns and we only scored 4 and we won. It's almost impossible. They went 1 for 5 in extra points and we got a 2-point conversion, got all our extra points and kicked a field goal.
Yeah. There you go.
Special teams, kick
Yep.
return.
How many yards did Billy run that game?
Billy Orfalea.
He's the coach.
I hope Mary Orfaley's out there watching. So Billy Orfalea in that game carried the ball 36 times for 276 yards.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's insane.
And did Mary say too much?
Yeah.
So after the game, as you guys did a great job, you used to interview the kids, and what I loved about it, and I preach this to the kids, and they showed it, when you interviewed other kids, like you interviewed Billy didn't talk anything about himself, he talked about the offensive line. And Billy Moynihan made a big pass to Brian Anderson, talked about Brian Anderson. Brian Anderson talked about Billy Moynihan. So Mary Orfalea, who had bothered me for a couple of years because Mario Johnson was head of Billy, said, Coach, he needs to run the ball more. After that game, she comes up to me and says, Coach, too much, too much. I mean, 36 carries. And
You gotta know Mary.
Yeah. And the other game was one of the best games I ever coached.
Wait. I got one more thing to add to that game.
Go ahead.
At the end of that game, when that ball went through the
I know
goalpost,
what you're gonna say.
the camera focused on the coach as he was going in. His feet were that far off the ground.
Hey, John.
He must have been.
Really?
Hey,
Do you remember?
Wait, who's feet?
You Dutch.
Dutch Holland.
You and Dutch.
Hi, Dutch.
He must-
Dutch Holland went this high vertical. Off the ground. I have it on tape.
he must
You
have
were
been-
just right
Oh,
beside
believe
him.
me, I was higher than that.
I think you were standing on chairs. That's
Yeah,
what
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the last one was Dave Palazzi, Leominster, my second to last year.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting game. My daughter was dating someone, and her father came to the game, and so it's a haymaker back and forth. And so we get the ball back. We're down 32-27, and we drive and score on fourth down on a play I hadn't called in 5 years, and we threw it to Ryan Doobie. We've used, and in the backfield for Leominster was Neil O'Connor and Gerald Adu. O'Connor went full ride to UNH, and Adu went to UMass. And so here's one, John. So we score to go up 33-32. 4 seconds left. So what do? I took a knee. The reason I took a knee is we can't lose. Back then, it wasn't Federation rules. If you blew the 2-point conversion, they could run it back. So the referee comes up to me, you know the clock doesn't run. I said, I know the clock doesn't run. We got to go take a knee, and then we got to kick off and make the tackle, we win. And so that was an unbelievable game.
How was that game? Was good.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable game. I mean, Dave Palazzi, great coach. I mean, we couldn't stop him.
Yep.
And so those were kind of fun. I like those kind of close games. Thought on Friday you would have one of those dramatic fishes, but
Almost.
you know.
And that's why you're on the pills, right?
Yeah.
Because of him. Yeah.
Nitro.
John, number one.
Yeah, again, I don't know that this is in any particular order, but I just have to go. I was going from oldest to most recent. That this year again at St. John's, I think that just down 10-0. They scored with 6. Well, no, maybe there was 7 and change to go. Once again, we had put a couple of drives together, but we were on life support a little bit, and then we get the ball. We held them to a field goal. And so down 10-0, get the ball, we put a drive together, we scored in 4 plays, so all of a sudden it's 10-6. And then they got the ball back with 5 minutes or so to go and drove down, and they were on a +40 about, and we got a pick on the perimeter and almost returned it for a touchdown. 2 minutes left, and you'll appreciate this. I don't know if you read the game, but we got the ball first and goal at the 9 with 1:50 to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's first and goal at the 9, so it's 4 plays.
Right.
Now we're inside the 10 first down, so it's just 4 plays. So I didn't have to, we had 2 timeouts though. But the kids wanted to run quarterback sneak every
Love
play.
it.
So we were called 3 quarterback sneaks, but it was 3rd and 2. I'm watching the clock tick down knowing I have 2 timeouts. 3rd and 2, we're just bleeding it, and we scored with 14 seconds to go. And barely made it. But my thinking in my mind, if he doesn't get this, it's 4th and inches.
Right.
I'm bleeding the clock down to 2 seconds.
That's right.
And then this is going to be this one play for the whole game. And I didn't know if we would have scored in that situation because they would have put everybody.
Oh yeah.
Scrimmage, but to come from behind there, because usually when we play them, you know how it goes.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have more depth. So
Definitely.
usually as the game goes, it gets a little more difficult. So for our kids to, outscore them in the 4th. And storm back the way they did into scoring that fashion at their field was pretty special.
That
was a great game.
It was, that game, nothing against, it was probably second on my list of emotional game. With the Super Bowl being the number 1 emotional game, and we'll get to that, I'm sure that's your number 1. But to see the emotion that you emitted and that the kids, the student body emitted, and the player, that was a phenomenal.
It really was.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was electric.
It really was.
You know, I mean, wait till you see the highlight video. I've got one spot on the highlight video with you getting the crowd, going crazy. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
He's going,
You
he's
know?
doing that.
Why not?
Yeah.
Hey, it's St.
And it
John's.
was-
I mean, come on.
It was that
was
kind of a
fabulous.
game. It was great. It was great. And you got to do that. You have to do that.
And the
Kids
Friday
pick
Night
up-
Frenzy, the view they had from the end zone when we scored. I don't know if you guys saw it, but our sidelines reaction, and you could see all the fans in the background
That's really
when we
cool.
crossed the line.
Oh, that's cool.
The place just erupted. It was really cool. Gives you chills talking about it.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
So you guys go out with that St. John's.
That'll be the highlight of the highlight video this year. I can promise you that. Terry, let's guess. Let me see. What game?
I
would
think
be-
you didn't complete a pass in that game, did you?
I don't remember
Your
that.
number one game?
Didn't matter.
It didn't matter at all.
All I know is
All I know is it was a great block.
Yeah,
It was a
there we go.
pancake.
It was a pancake. Go ahead.
So, wait till I get to that. No, I guess the two Super Bowls. The Westfield one was, pretty amazing. We're down 9 with about 6 minutes left. And
I was a grump in that game.
And yes, you were. And they didn't.
gave up.
And they
I did.
People gave up on us. We won't mention any names.
Me?
And so the backstory, speaking about Jim Wilson, so Jim Wilson was out in Western Mass. Leominster was playing Longmeadow. And he's covered Longmeadow, beat Leominster like 42-0 or something. And so the guy out in Western Mass said, oh, your beloved Shrewsbury Colonials are going to get beat. Because Westfield did not throw a pass until the end of the game after we scored to go ahead. And Jim said, well, these guys have come back. I mean, that was a year we were down trailing in the fourth quarter 9 times out of 13 games and won them all. It's just, you can't even make a movie out of it.
Yeah, right.
And so,
Can I just say one thing?
yes,
In the 25 years that I've been watching, well, it's been more than that.
Right.
Because Mike was there and all that. That was, without a doubt, the toughest team I've seen. By that I mean,
Oh, God.
the kids were tough. They did, if they got smacked in the mouth, they said, come on, give me some more.
yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
that's the way they
They were
were.
resilient, yeah.
They were.
100%.
So John, Westfield came in double tights, double wing, one back, and they just came out and just ran off tackle and counter. It was just ridiculous. They were huge.
Just like North Middlesex.
So we scored to make it 17-15, and then we had 2 timeouts left, and I'm thinking, geez, we're not even get the ball back. So the big thing was, what did you call? We didn't want to do an onside kick. It was too obvious. So Paul Tizano was such a smart kid. I said, if you see a hole, then try to kick it to that. And he kicked it. It was football guys. He popped it up over the second line. They all looked at it, and it bounced up, and Jamie Wright came and got
Anthony, was it Anthony?
Anthony Wright, excuse me.
Anthony Wright.
Anthony Wright. I think it's Jamie Weed.
Yeah.
And then we went down and scored, and we won 21-17, scored, winning in the last minute and stuff like that. So that was amazing. And just to cap off a fantastic year, the year before we were 3-8, we go 13-0. And of course, my number one game has got to be the Longmeadow Super Bowl, only because Longmeadow was such a perennial power. They had never lost in a Super Bowl, and of course, their coach was Alex Roscoe, who coached me at AIC. And, I was talking to someone the other day about him, and he's gone to Maine and won state championships up there. He was just a great guy. But the thing I remember the year before, when this senior lady class was juniors and we lost to them, 36-21, he had first and goal at the 3-yard line with 2 minutes left. It took 3 knees, so he wouldn't score. You remember stuff like that. Classy move like that. And then, we go down and we're killing them up 14-0, and then they come flying back. And then we have the drive, and Billy's reverse, and I'll never forget, I'm on the headphones, but they'll never see this coming. And Lee does make a great block, and Billy makes a great run. And then Mario scores with 16 seconds left. And if you watch the film, the thing that always makes me smile is Brian Robitaille looks at me. And of course, I already have 2 fingers up. We're going for 2. And he's like, yes. We were just going to go. We just went overpower and tossed, and we scored with 16 seconds left.
All the powers lined up on the left side. It's the pitch to Johnson. He gets outside. He's in! Mario Johnson! 2-point conversions! Colonials are on! Unbelievable! 22-21! Unbelievable play! 16 seconds left. The Colonial crowd is wild. Wallace goes for it all. It comes up smelling like roses.
That was a great win because of A, the first Super Bowl win, and B, because who you beat out there.
Yeah.
And he
Basically at his house.
I'll never forget my retirement thing. We had to play, and he goes, "Oh my God, if I see that game one more time." When he came to speak, it was really classy of him to do that. But
What I remember from that game is there's a few things. The emotion that poured out of every single kid. And it was different because who was the coach? Springfield coach.
oh, Mike DeLong,
Mike DeLong. And Mike DeLong told you, Terry,
take as long as you want.
stay here as long, and we were there for an hour,
And-
at least.
And so Mike,
Right, Jay?
Yeah.
At least.
So Mike DeLong coached Springfield College when I was at AIC, so I had known him for that long. He didn't like me back when I was at AIC.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he did.
But remember, I shared with you guys, if we beat these guys, you're not going to believe what you see. And it was just great. I mean, the parents and the kids, and Ron was Woodcock, the guy,
Ron Woodcock,
he was
yep.
fabulous. The greatest 137 seconds in Shrewsbury football history. And just those kids.
But the kids on that team were just great leadership.
Tremendous.
Great,
started with
Judy
their
Class.
started with the quarterback.
it started with a quarterback. It
Okay,
did.
so let me ask
Come
you
on,
this.
Lee, you're going to take that, man.
Listen.
Awesome.
Three-year starter. Okay.
I know.
His last 3 years to the Super Bowl, and the biggest game of that year, was Oakmont. And they came out in the 46 defense to stop Mario. And what did our quarterback go? 9 for 10. See what I mean?
I know.
So
I know, no.
hitting
You have to convince me.
hitting Timmy Ford in a touchdown pass. I don't remember this stuff. Yeah, so that that kind of got things going. And then the next year, I remember being disappointed with 9-2, and it was back then only one team went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we were arguably the best team in Central Mass.
Billy D'Amelia was laying on the ground going, I can't believe it, because we weren't going anywhere, because the playoffs were different back then.
Yeah, one team won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we lost to St. John's and Leominster.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and again, as I mentioned before, those kids when I came in as freshmen, their last 3 years they went 30-5, which is regardless of how it is. And it's interesting now. The whole football landscape has kind of changed. I mean, now John plays an unbelievable schedule, plays Eastern Mass Powers and stuff like that. But back then, I mean, Leominster, Fitchburg, all these guys were powers.
North
I remember
Middlesex.
one year in 2009, we were 5-6, and that sounds terrible. Auburn was 11-0, Marlborough was 11-0, and Wachusett was 11-0. So 3 opponents were 33-0, and that doesn't include St. John's and Leominster and Fitchburg. So you look at it like it was ridiculous, But now, Central Mass has some stronger teams, but Eastern Mass is, I mean, he opens with Andover. I mean, Andover's a perennial power, all the time. And my hat's and Jay too. I mean, play a fabulous schedule.
You look at, and again, we talked about earlier in the show about the culture, right? We changed the culture, and now I think that's what I'm most proud of. What these two guys have done with our program is we're in the conversation every year. We're in the conversation. There's a preseason conversation. Before that never happened. It was very rare, and now it's all right. Well, who do you got on the schedule? I mean, it started back then in building that success, and now John continuing it. And you look at this year's record, right? We got an opportunity to go 7-4, and you get 3 of the 4 losses are in playing this weekend in the state semifinal. That's that's unbelievable, and it's funny because people are like, what is it with these games? And it's like, it comes down to coaching and what these guys have done for our football program, and having lived through it, the beginning of his career, and having to play through some of those lean years. It's just awesome. It makes you proud. You walk into an AD room, or you walk into MIA, and you're like, okay, Shrewsbury's in the conversation. There's a shot of getting to Gillette each year.
You guys have been one of the constants throughout.
Yeah. It's been quite a ride for us. It really has. The coach. I love to watch I think back over the years how these coaches have interacted with kids, on a day-to-day basis when they're working with them at practice, during the game, and what they've gone through with these kids, and they know them, they treat them like they're members of their family, and they care. They really care about the students, about the kids,
The thing that I love about both of these guys is, and I don't even know if the parents know this, I really don't. I mean, it's different but they loved their kids, and they would never do anything to have any of them get hurt or.
Or the hours that them and their staff put in
Exactly.
for years. For
Exactly.
years. So the question is, what are you guys? I mean, this is about you guys. Like,
Well, it's always been
What are
about
those
the kids.
games?
Can I take the time to read this?
Yeah.
Marc, who is this first letter from?
Chris Abasha.
Chris Abasha sent this note in today.
Oh, he did? Oh, God. Wait a minute.
Tissue.
This, you asked the question. The question is about the kids. That's what, and this is from Chris. It was a great 4 years playing for Coach Wallace. It was like yesterday when I heard the word banana get called in the huddle, and I knew I was scoring a touchdown.
This is true.
Coach Wallace was an amazing talent, excellent coach, and a role model for all of us. So that was I thought that was fitting to read today. And then this letter I received, and he said it to Mr. Todisco, but it was actually for all of us, meaning for the four of us here.
Let me give a little background too.
Go ahead.
Landon was a tremendous student, correct?
Oh, yeah.
He sang the national anthem before a couple of our games that year, so he was also an excellent singer. He was just a great kid.
Yeah,
and a
he was
4-year starter.
He was a fine football
A
player,
defensive
too.
end.
Arguably one of the smartest, if not the smartest football player in the
Yeah.
country.
Where'd you go, Amherst or Williams?
Wesleyan.
Wesleyan,
Yeah,
smart.
Wesleyan.
He was
So
really smart.
Landon sent this letter to Mr. Todisco. How are you? I need to be honest, I've been meaning to write this email for a while now, ever since I saw the 20th year anniversary video of the Super Bowl. I was upset with myself for missing the call, but I was surprised at all the memories that came back from the game, season, and overall Colonial experience. But what struck me most was just my awe and sense of thankfulness for you and your crew there during that time. The level of selflessness, not only for you, for your own son, but the rest of the guys, is something that deserves more thanks than words can muster. You guys are amazing. Being a new dad myself, it's amazing to think how a band of fathers got together to create a series of lasting memories for a growing set of boys to carry them through their lives. It was truly a unique experience to SHS, one that many of my friends and other athletes certainly missed out on, one that's even hard to recreate for teams I coach now. But it makes you feel lucky to not just be a Colonial in that area, but to be an immensely lucky recipient of the generosity of you, both Mastros, Mr. D'Amelia, Mr. Bigda, Mr. Orf, and others in that production crew, Marc, Serra, Liz. So for that, and Laurie Bergman, for that, thank you for all you did in allowing me to carry more than just my personal memories forward. As I watched the tape of the call, I did remember a lot of things from the call that I did want to share, and I hope that you can pass along a few to the other guys. First bullet. That period of SHS football really owes a lot to numbers 33 and 34, and not just Roby and Mario. Mike Mastro and Billy D'Amelia Jr., were the originators of those numbers, carry so much weight and groundwork those two laid during their careers was simply impressive. Enough of us, as middle schoolers, knew it was greatness at that time. My personal thought is that those jerseys might be retired or honored in some way to carry that message to each new team, kind of like Texas A&M with number 12. Second bullet. I had a lot of fun in that Super Bowl game, and Dan McKenna, Longmeadow quarterback number 15, and I would talk a lot about it at college during downtime. We both went to Wesleyan, but boy did he carry a hatred for Shrewsbury. I had opportunity to actually meet a lot of the Longmeadow players through McKenna, and the constant theme was they were desperate to play that game again and couldn't believe they lost. Third bullet. Longmeadow was a tough team, but it was sure cathartic getting that win, not only for the team, but for the overall program. I remember being pretty damn emotional after the game, a response that I only started to understand later in life, because it was quite the culmination of a lot of hard work by a group of guys that I really appreciated. Your son was a linchpin in our success as well, so thanks for supporting him. Football is definitely unique in interdependence, and not many have the opportunity to experience all that work and then win the last game. Last bullet. I don't know how it happened, but the substitutions in that game gave me my first experience as a wide receiver. Wallace forgot to sub me out when we went from double tight end to our normal package, so I got a few snaps in there as the ex-receiver. If they would have thrown me the ball, I'm confident I could have upped Lee's abysmal stat line. Probably not, but that's how I'm going to tell the story. Sorry, Lee. All in all, I really can't thank you enough for treating us like your son and giving us such a great gift. Your work and the rest of the involvement by the fathers is so appreciated and is a true treasure. Whenever I see the guys from that team, they're sure to toast you and the crew for it. Wish you and the family the best. Landon Laporte, number 45.
Class all the way.
Yep.
That's how he was. That's how the kids were.
You know, if that doesn't get to you, you know, nothing's going to. That means a lot to me. It's been hung up in my office since I got it. The day I got it.
You know, and you think about that day, that one of the things that I really enjoyed was the fact that you guys got to interview the kids like that. It was so cool, you know, just talking about, you know, everybody and that experience. But, you know, to you four guys, I've told you this many times, but, you know, it's unbelievable. People don't understand is, for many, many years now, you guys have no horse in the race. You don't have any sons that play, whatever like that. I mean, Bobby's son's a great baseball player, doesn't even play football. And, you know, it's just amazing. You know, Lee brought up a good point about back when you started, there was no, you know, Instagram and all that other stuff, you know, with this. And I used to tell people that we have this show once a week, all our games are on cable, and they're televised, and it's play-by-play. They're like, what? What are you talking about? And then remember, we used to have, like, Sean McKay would come in. I know Jan Gibo came in. Ray Cosenza came in.
John Andrioli.
John Andrioli came in. I mean, you know, and it was, and just to hear the kids talk, and it was so refreshing that they always talked about each other. But the one show I do remember, and I don't remember a lot, was the show before my 100th win. And you said to these kids, you're getting ready to soak coach at the end of the game, and they're like, what are you talking about? And you look at me and go, they don't know? I go, they know we're playing Westboro. Because, and John will test this, it's not about, I mean, you know, it's about the kids, you know what I mean? I don't, you know, look back and I think about the wins you have and stuff like that and what the reaction of the kids were. You know, we as coaches, you try to put them in the best spots to succeed, no question. You know, but they don't. You know, John, I haven't scored a touchdown as a coach or made a tackle or anything like that. It's the kids. So, but again, to your thing, like I said, I used to laugh because I mean, I don't know how they were John, but these guys used to kill me on the broadcast. Let me use the quote that I heard about 1,000 times. Terry, I love you, but I don't know what you're doing. There was a lot of compliments, you know, about stuff.
The best, though, John, is he always had a comeback. It was like, I ran this play to lose 8 yards in the beginning of the game, so I set up this other play later on.
That was how many times did we hear that?
And, you know, and they finally knew what a jet sweep was, and they didn't know what that was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, John's heard that, so we complained to him about the jet sweep, too. So that's one consistency.
Yeah, well, you know.
And if I may, I know I just think about two things come to mind with you guys. Just, you know, 25 years, like all of the time that you guys gave for nothing. I mean, you know, you're not doing anything for any money. You're just doing it out of, you know, the goodness of your heart. That's a lot of time. You know, how many? That's a lot of service.
I don't know if the people even saw this. I don't know if he had it on, but this is what we did it for.
When they walk in on us.
But not only the amount of time for me, and your speech last year at the Knights of Columbus, I think represented all of your passion, just your passion for the program, your passion for the town. I mean, all of you. I think that's one thing that is, you know, people really appreciate. You know, it's not just the time, but I don't know if there's bigger fans of Shrewsbury athletics or Shrewsbury football than you guys. And your hearts are clearly there. So
Sometimes it got us in trouble, though, John.
That's what happens when you wear your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah,
It's true, and
Yeah.
we tell everybody all the time is the way we are in the booth is exactly the way we are when we play golf and go out to eat and whatever. And we bled blue and gold, and there were a lot of times when not just don't let him get behind you. I mean, you know, but that's just being passionate. That's all.
Right. You're in it for the kids, but you're also fans of the school.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, I get it, but,
But you talk also about, you said the growth. You were our age when you did this and stuff. So, you're just seeing you guys now as, I was coming in as a young coach and learning everything, and you guys were being fathers. And now you guys are grandparents and you're seeing the grandchildren. I've been fortunate enough to watch John in action with his granddaughter during softball games when my daughter's playing with her. And nothing's changed in 25 years. It's still the same. Like you said, you may be busting their chops, but it's staying busting their chops you did 25 years ago as you're doing now. And I think on behalf of all our athletes and too, it's a big thank you.
Well, we owe you a debt of gratitude too, because you've had to.
You've always led us.
Right, you've had to put up with us, first of all the malarkey and baloney.
Probably taken
But-
away from some of your gait in recent years.
Yeah, but you've also supported us, all these years too, Jay. And we all appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
So, thank you.
And just for the
Right back
record,
at you.
we've never run the Delaware wing tee.
thank you, Jim.
Let me
We
say
never
something.
said we knew what we were talking about.
Let me say something.
We did hear that a lot in the right? I'm like, Delaware wing tee. I'm in the eye.
Let me get this off my chest.
Oh, geez.
Oh, boy.
Get ready with
Hey,
the
Marc.
Spencer.
Yeah,
Let me get this off my chest. First of all, a consensus. The greatest three sports star in Shrewsbury during our time, right back there.
Yep.
The greatest three sports star. Football, baseball,
Yeah, I
basketball.
agree with
By
that.
far. By far. And we love you, Lee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay, thank you for being a good role model for our boys.
Yep, absolutely.
Our boys were your boys.
Yeah,
They were.
Thank you.
Yep.
And you two, Hall of Fame coaches as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you.
Get the tissues.
Oh, you're
I
making me
know,
cry
Franz.
too.
This is very rare. Hall of Fame coaches.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We love
I
you.
agree
Yep,
with that.
yeah, we do. We thank you guys for everything. And while we're at thank yous, I think we could take a break now, because, Mark, can we have Laurie come out here? And is Liz still here? Oh,
No, I'm not.
Liz at home.
can we have them come out for a second?
No,
Yes.
no, Lori can. I'm all set.
No, you've got to come too.
Come on, Liz.
Come on.
So, Laurie and Liz have been the two ladies behind the scenes for our show for 25 years, since the beginning, and we just wanted to thank them in some small way for what they've done and what they mean to us. So, this first card is for Elizabeth. Liz Poplawski. The card and a little gift inside there.
Thank you very much.
And Laurie, right back at you. Card. And a little gift from us, and I think we have another gift to you.
Yeah,
I'm a football moms.
I'm a football mom.
There you are.
No,
Yeah,
well,
she
you're
is.
not.
and people don't know, back in the day, when we weren't live and all this stuff, it was Laurie that was the one that always came in and made sure that
After the game was over.
that
they take-
the tape was in and it was gonna run and everything was gonna be smooth, so we just want her to, we got these hats from,
Mike Tonelli?
no,
Sean Lawler.
Sean Lawler.
All up from
Sean.
the-
And he gave us an extra one. And I had the idea of something you can put on your mantle, and we each signed it, and we really appreciate what you did for us, especially the first 15 or 16 years. It was awesome, Laurie. Thank you so much. We couldn't have done this without her. We really couldn't.
I know.
We learned along the way together.
Yeah,
didn't
we did. Yeah, we did. She used to come and set it all up for us, and it was awesome. Mark, too.
It was Kyle said to me one day, "Oh, by the way, I signed us up for a gridiron club." I'm like, "What is that?" So next
There
thing
you
I
go.
know, I'm like, "Oh, if you want to learn how to do TV, come see us."
There you go.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
So, thanks, Laurie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lori.
Thank you,
I
Liz.
just want to
We
tell
love you
guys
both.
The
Yeah.
three things about our experience with you guys was, number one, the honoring the past.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
You brought back all the different teams, the next Super Bowl team, and
Yep.
then all the kids that played for you, all your all-stars.
Yep.
Then the Shriners, your relationship with them, and you got the kids to play in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we raised money for the Shriners. We learned about the Shriners.
Yeah.
And they were so appreciative, and I was able to get that game out everywhere. I learned,
Yeah, you
met a
did.
lot of different people, and we got that game out there, and so you guys finally got across the bridge.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
And the third thing was football for mummies.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Football for
Oh,
moms.
boy.
was a classic.
Remember
That
that
was going to
one?
be one of my top
boy.
shows.
I'll tell you what.
Mary Awfully got to play.
I formed tackle with her. That's the highlight of my career here in Shrewsbury.
Yeah, that was good. And then I got to wear number 58.
I know, that was-
Yelp
that was-
Huddle.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, so thank you so much, giving our family this experience too, and my
Absolutely.
SPAC family. So I've been here since 1987.
Jeez.
So
Wow. You guys have
I've
been
learned a
great to
lot and grown a lot, like right with you guys. So thank you.
Thanks, Laurie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lori. Liz, thank you.
Thank you. And like I said, I was going to bring it up. Because you guys said, what are your top things? I think it was you, Jay, that said it.
So just bring this back. Do you guys remember, John, wait till you hear this. When I first started coaching, I couldn't go to sleep until I watched the film.
Oh, jeez.
So we used to go to ground round,
Oh, that's right.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Know that?
So we go to ground round, John, right? And the waitress would run to our table because we used to leave like a 40% tip, you know? And so I had to watch the film, so I'd wait, and Lord, Nick, someone could have the film in the mailbox at SPAC at
Yeah.
1 a.m. I'd grab it and go home and watch the film, and then I could go to sleep. That lasted for about 5 years. I need to sleep.
Even Thanksgiving, before she even went
I
home
know,
for dinner, she's ready.
unbelievable. Yeah, so I mean, it's, you know, it's, you guys unbelievable. SPAC, even to have the venue to do so. I remember when we first approached my second year there, and I remember the first Good Morning Shrewsbury was Billy D'Amelio and I. And the funny thing, you guys want to talk a little bit? No, we're good. we talked for like an hour straight, and then the rest, you know, they say it's history. But you know, it's really been, you know, I've said to you guys too. Anybody who knows anything about high school athletics, you know, and again, you spread over all the sports, like John has mentioned too. You've been such a great asset to Shrewsbury High School. Think about all the kids that you've promoted, not only in the games, but on the show and stuff like that. You always ask the seniors, what are your plans for the future and stuff like that. Most shows wouldn't even think about that. They say, hey, what you think about the game in the third quarter? You're always talking about their future. And it gave those kids a little bit of a highlight of, yeah, I'm a good student, I'm going to whatever like that. So here's my best compliment to you guys. People will have no idea how good you were until you're not there anymore. And they're going to say, wow, what a void that is, not only with the games, but the show and stuff like that. So, again, if anybody had negativity to say about that, they really don't get it. You had no axe to grind against anybody except for myself and John. Calling plays, but we're
Wait. Don't
There
forget the
is a
special
group,
teams
the
coach,
referees.
Referees.
Oh, they got our number.
Yeah.
They got, yeah, they,
During a basketball game.
yeah.
We got
dissed
booed.
us.
We got booed at WPI when we walked in.
We walked
The
in and
refs.
the referees,
They were all sitting there.
they call us those Shrewsbury guys.
Guys don't
That's
know
what we're doing.
nothing about football. We never said we did.
I have to say though, there's been some embarrassing referee things. One in particular was the South game last year.
Oh, that was horrible.
That to me
That
was the worst.
pathetic.
The other one I almost fell off the roof was in Hudson.
Oh, yeah, that one too.
That one
The
too.
Hudson game.
I said,
Remember
you know,
that
you can
one?
only hold yourself so long. You can't just.
I had to call
South
Jay-
and Hudson, those were the
I had to
two
call
worst.
Jay over to the
I
guy, the
thought for
referee.
sure
was
Jay
saying-
get arrested.
Yeah, he says I'm a state trooper. Don't impede my space. You know, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Really.
So Jay, come on over.
Yeah, Jay.
What was up with the coach at South last year? I mean, not the coach, the ref. What was it with
He
him?
didn't like you.
We had a
never
first.
met him.
We had a first and 48 or something like that.
It's not a very good playbook for that first and 48.
No,
Tough
no.
call.
Well, who's the only announcer to ever be ejected out of a game?
I came close.
Bobby Bigda got
Did I get ejected? From,
Baseball.
that was being a fan. That was Lee.
And you were right.
I said to him, move your ass and get over there and take a look at it. And he looks at Lee and he says, either he leaves or you forfeit the game. I said, I'm going.
I get a call. Someone's getting thrown out of the game. Ooh, Bob Bigda.
The best one was I'm walking down out by left field. My phone rings. Jay, we were in the running for the sportsmanship award. until this happened.
And we won it once.
Oh, that's great. That's
We did?
We did.
Yeah, well, we were here.
Yeah, I thought so.
I didn't even know they had one.
Jay, didn't we
Did
win
they
it
have
once?
one?
The Westboro thing? I forget.
Oh, God.
We've been very, as a group, we have been very fortunate too. The first ever Super Bowl win at the school. We've watched some
State hockey championships.
state hockey championships.
Both girls.
Tremendous
Girls and
girls
boys.
basketball team. Tremendous teams.
Oh, yeah.
Girls that scored 90 points in a game. It was like it was nuts. And back in the day, when I wasn't working in Connecticut, we did every girls and boys game.
Yeah.
And over the years, we've really had some world-class athletes
We
at our high school. We really have.
And
I mean-
we like to bring up names, but we always miss somebody.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
The most outstanding female athlete
Without a
that
doubt.
I ever remember was Maggie
Tomeka.
Tomeka.
She was
unbelievable.
amazing. Yeah.
She was unbelievable.
It must have been a cool experience doing a game at Gillette. as
Well, that
well.
was
The
funny.
game was.
That
Oh, that was fun.
We had a blast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
You
we
don't
got in
know.
trouble. Oh, he doesn't know.
You don't know this.
Oh.
We're in the.
Were you late? Because
No, we're in there. We have there's a booth that
We
says
were there
Shrewsbury
early. We got
in
to
our
go-
booth, so we put our stuff outside the door, and we go eat. It's a beautiful buffet. We're eating. All of a sudden, it's like we
Billy
better
went,
go. It's like quarter
It's over here.
quarter one. We kick off at 1, whatever. We go to the booth. It's a radio booth. Now you guys are across the thing. We were picking up our equipment.
We're on the wrong
We're
side of
waiting
the
for the
stadium.
elevator. We don't get there till halfway through the first quarter.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're on the other side
We
of the
missed the
stadium.
first 15 minutes of
Yeah.
first 10 or 15 minutes of
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Because we were
But
eating.
the food was good.
There you go. I remember that.
I just want to let you know, we were very sensitive though. In the Shoba.
Jay knows that one. That was,
Oh, yeah.
that was attacking.
In the Shoba. Go ahead, John, you say this. Well, Bobby, you tell the story.
We were being us.
We were cheering us
Oh,
on.
we were loud.
It was those
You were-
three
you were
idiots,
coaching.
and I was up on the roof.
And we were-
Because we couldn't
Loud
have
and
each other.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
My second or third year.
We scored like 2 touchdowns in the first 10 minutes of the
We were
game.
loud and being
We're laughing. We're like
obnoxious.
the old PA
PA
guy.
announcer. Go ahead, tell him.
He's like in his 80s, I guess. He comes over and he starts yelling at us. He says, you're not going to take this serious. This is my booth. I'm going to call the police and have you ejected.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. So we go on, and then he comes back again, and John says, he says, you came over, and you were okay, but he says, you said it with a mean face. He tells the guy, you said it with a mean face.
It's a chair.
You know, the guy he lost it on us.
Well, yeah. I think,
I'm up on the roof listening to this with the headset on, right? These guys here. I laughed for about a half
Oh,
an
yeah,
hour. I couldn't stop laughing because it was the most funny thing I've ever heard in my life. They're getting yelled at by this old guy down in, I mean, we're old now, but this,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy
He
was
was older
old.
than
He
we
was
were.
old. And then after the game,
We
we
told
went out, we
Jay.
went looking for Jay.
Because we wanted, because we knew you knew their AD,
That's right,
and
right.
we didn't
We
want.
wanted retribution. Will you?
Wait, you come to our
Yeah, I think we did say
Our
that.
PA guy will really be on you.
yeah, we had some.
There's a lot of those stories. There really are over the years.
If you get a chance, though, you should go on social media today. And I know the story was posted by the Community Advocate, but you know, there was a particular athlete I think recently that has graduated that I think responded in minutes, and that was Johnny West.
Oh, really?
Who wrote some really nice comments for you guys, and
Nice.
I'm sure there as we finish this show tonight, and a lot more are going to pour in, but take a few minutes
The
to
night that we
see those.
The night that we announced that I came and saw you in the afternoon, and that night
Yep.
we announced, we let John know and that we were going to, I think we'd let Terry know. We tried to tell the people that really meant something to our group that we were making this announcement. We didn't want you guys to hear it secondhand. So that night, after I had broadcast it took off like wildfire. Our emails were blowing up all night long with people coming in saying, no, say it. And so Arthur, who is on the coaching staff, all right, and he hasn't stopped yet, said that he's getting people to go out and picket and protest.
Petition, he's signing,
Petition.
people sign petitions.
Yeah, that, you know, no, hell no, you're not going, or something, hell no, we won't.
For the record, he's not on the coach.
For the record.
Oh! See it, Arthur?
He generously films our games and does a great job. He wants to
great
call
guy.
2-point conversions for me, but I will not.
We have a lot of fun with Arthur.
We do have.
Oh, we do.
So do we.
You know who else we had a lot of fun with?
Yeah, Mr. Pinto.
Mr. Pinto.
Oh, yeah, I used to.
I loved listening to him.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Talk
'cause we
about
could- Huh?
Yeah, language.
Go down to the middle school games, you can still listen to him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's coaching down there? Oh, God, I'll have to go. We'll have to go down.
Yeah, we loved having him at the game, sitting next to us.
Yeah, we
At
did.
the game this week.
So I think that when they made that announcement, I thought about our boys will be walking in the door next year and not being able to experience what some of the athletes have had over the years. They grew up watching it, you know, kind of laughing at us, and I'm saying, "What did they just say?" While watching film, you know.
Your sons were on the show.
That's one of
Yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite shows. They're running behind the curtain.
Yeah, remember that? I remember that.
Oh, yeah,
And
here.
I'm
Here.
fuming, and you're telling me to relax. And then we have them on the sitting in chairs, and they're sticking their tongue out. I didn't realize what to laugh. They still laugh about it to this
We had
day.
him in one
But
of
I'm
the games.
uptight about it. You're like, will you just relax?
Yeah, we had them in one of the games too, like Shepherd Hill or something, or Westboro. They were in the stands. and we
Oh
had them
yeah,
come
that's
out.
right. I think it was Westboro.
Yeah, it was.
That's right.
Well, how about when we had
had
Terry's?
Jacqueline and Julia on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
So Jacqueline comes on the show. She went to Darty. She has my Darty 1979 Super Bowl jacket on, and we're playing Darty. So they go, hey, what do you think? How's your dad? Oh, he's miserable when you lose. I can't stand him and all stuff. So of course John goes, all right. So here's the big question: who are you cheering for on Friday night? She goes, Shrewsbury. And Julia came on. Julia was like 9.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
She
Julia.
had curls and stuff. And
She reminded me of the Remember the Titans girl.
yes, yeah. And she's like,
She knew the
how's your
plays.
dad when he loses? Oh no, he's bad. We don't go near him on the weekend when he loses. When he wins, it's good to be around him.
It's like your dad.
And we remember her. Yeah. And we remember her when she was in the wagon
Yep.
coming onto the field.
On Oak Street, the old
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I lived in the wagon. Yeah. It was a fun.
So
day.
Jay asked about our top games.
Yes,
Definitely 2001, the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Number
2000.
one.
2001.
For me.
December 4th, by the way.
The St. John's win up at Assumption, first time live, absolutely phenomenal. I wasn't there, the Okeka, St. John, the catch,
Yo, you weren't at that game?
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you didn't miss too many games,
I
Joe.
was at,
No,
Actually-
I remember you had like inventory or something like that. I remember you were doing the game, and then you
Right.
called in, and he was like on the phone with you, like,
Yes.
"There's like 30 seconds left in driving. Oh my god,
exactly,
it's
exactly.
on the air."
Yeah.
And the reason the Super Bowl hit me so hard is, first of all, I coached almost every star on that team in baseball.
Yeah.
And I won't say who it was, but I remember going down on the field, and the first person I saw was crying like a baby. And he came over and he hugged me like Evan and Jet did tonight.
I know exactly who
I
it
know,
was.
I know. And it was just like,
The toughest kid maybe they ever
Yeah.
played.
Yes.
Shrewsbury football.
But you know what? They were all crying.
Yeah.
They
About
were
the entire team. So was I.
Well, you know, the tradition, at
Lee
least,
was.
at least speak to this, and Jake could speak to that, but we used to have, we got together the night before Thanksgiving.
that was awesome.
It was unbelievable.
Oh,
about
yeah.
The kids that would say stuff, you know, and it was just a powerful moment. They just reflect on what they did over their career, you know, and you'd be surprised some of the kids who really were very emotional about him. And he said, you know, how much football meant to them, you know, and how much the brotherhood of being on a team. You know, maybe we wouldn't even know each other. The common denominator is football, you know, so that was pretty good stuff.
Wait, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well,
Just a sec.
yeah, it was something very. I mean, it's something that brings the whole team together. And one thing I remember that Coach Wallace always said is that no matter what, we all play multiple sports or follow multiple sports, but your best friends are always in football. And I think that's something that he always provides with those experiences to, you know, even though football is considered a more macho sport, but behind closed you know, when you close the curtains, where, you know, we really opened up with each other a lot. And that was something we always, you know, took very seriously, and it was important and impactful at the same time. And, you know, that's impactful at that time. Then you guys are bringing it all together so we can go back and, you know, for all these years, anybody who ever played can relive those stories, and it brings back even more memories when you're just watching the game. You watch the game, but then other thoughts and memories creep into your mind. So to have you guys do that, it just puts it all together. You know?
What is your favorite moment of that game? I mean, that game held a lot of
what? Oh, you know
emotional.
what? I'll be
moments.
honest with you. Like, I don't really remember much. You know, when you're playing,
Seriously?
like, yeah. I mean, just listening to Coach Aloisi and Coach Wallace talking about the wins. When I'm coaching now, maybe I'm just. I mean, you remember the wins. I remember probably losses more distinctly, because you're always replaying
So
things
you
in your
could have made
mind.
this play or that play, right?
I think as far as wins, I don't really remember much, to be honest with you, other than what it made you feel like. You know, you remember the feeling, because you don't really feel anything else like that before. But you remember more as a coach, I think, than you do playing. You know, when you're playing, you're just out there, you're in the moment. It's a different type of focus. When you're coaching, it's a lot different. So to be honest with you, I don't really remember a whole lot other than the bus ride home, maybe. You know, how much we felt and the celebration afterwards. But yeah, it's really a blur. So it goes even back to your point of what you guys have done for all of us. It's all documented, right? So I don't know how many other programs and communities and schools can just do all that. So
One more thing. Yeah. I went with Marc, Serra, and Liz maybe about 10 years ago to there was a statewide, I don't know if it might have been New England-wide conference at Gillette Stadium. And they were showing all these different type of new technologies that they had, different TV outlets or cable outlets that were cable stations like we have here were showing some of the programming that they did and all that. And they asked me to get up and talk about what we were doing here for Coach's Corner and broadcasting football games in Shrewsbury. And I was amazed to find out how few communities throughout the state of Massachusetts were doing it. We were state of the art at the time. The stuff that we were doing wasn't being done anywhere else. Right. And we were making it happen here. And that's what I think that I'm most proud of, is that we had something that we created and kept it going for all these years. And we're sitting here tonight elaborating and, you know, sharing all those beautiful memories. So,
and that consistency and longevity too. Like you said, between your career and mine and everybody's here, it's just you guys have been such a constant presence. Right. You know,
it's easy to say stop doing it when it's not going well for us. You know, like it's a bad season or a few bad games. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's through the thick and thin. I mean, who wants to be freezing their tail off in November in a windy game? And there's a lot to be said.
And they've done that. But by the same token, I can remember sitting in one of the control rooms here doing highlight videos with one of those teams, with one of your dad's basketball teams. Yeah. And we made it happen. And by the end of watching the highlight video, the team looked like they were 14-0. Right. Really, you take all the best plays of the season, and there's a lot of them in there.
Yeah. I know that's been mentioned. I don't know how much that's been talked about though, but that's impressed me every year when you do that highlight tape. I mean, as a coach. But it just takes so much time. And you know, no one asks you to do that. And the nights at Columbus that you guys, the rally that you guys helped coordinate.
Yeah, that's before my time. That was.
But you kept it going.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a cool feature as well. So
Yeah. 30 years that's been going on,
Wow.
the Knights. They've had that banquet.
More than that.
Eddie Pescaro's brother,
Right.
Ray Pescaro, started that with the
I
Knights.
didn't know it went back that far.
That went back
Yeah.
to the early
Yeah.
80s.
You know what was nice about that? I remember, I don't know what year it was, first, second, or third, where we added different awards. So I think it was important, and I think you guys probably still have it. They have the lineman of the game, don't they,
Oh, yeah.
Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Offense,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the process was, let's reward as many kids as we can, you know?
Yeah,
And,
MVP, yeah.
you know, it really put the lineman in a highlight, you know, and you get a trophy and stuff like that. So I'm glad if you're still doing it, it's great.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff has kind of slid, not like stuff like that where we did that
No,
lineman.
but
we still recognize the kids during the game, kids that stand out. And we always say, oh, he had a great game at the last game. And we try and highlight those, Terry.
The thing that I love, and I always mention this, you both brought on seniors all the time.
Yep.
You know, I think we've had every senior on the show at one point or another throughout your careers.
Yep.
And the thing that always impressed me, because I played, and I used to say, and I would tell the kids all the time, you know, the kid that John would say, well, this one's coming on, and who's he? You know, because he doesn't play.
Right.
And those kids, to me, are MVPs. I don't know how you can go and butt heads and play Saigon, whatever you guys used to do.
They still do it, but it's not Saigon anymore.
No, I know, it's something else.
It's something
God, that was fun.
I know, but these kids did that, and then the game came, and they stood there in the rain, in the snow, in the cold, in the heat, and maybe they play special teams. Those kids, to me, understand what football is all about.
Yeah.
I've said it a million times. Football, to me, is the biggest team sport because you can have 10 guys, we've talked about this, 10 guys doing the right thing, one guy does something wrong, and the play's gone. You lose 10 yards. A million times I've said it. A million.
I know.
And
It's
I know,
probably a million
John,
too
will agree
right
with this
now.
too. The nice thing about a situation like that is, say you get into a game where it's, you know, it's a blowout, and you put one of those kids in,
Yes.
and they do anything, or just going in the game, and you see the sideline explode. You know, that's a great memory for that type of kid who's hanging in it. You know.
Good. Another highlight of my career, our career, mine, anyways, the girl.
Abby Height.
Oh,
Abby.
yeah, that's right.
And she played.
That was pretty cool.
Towards the end of the year, she
Oh,
played. And I remember the kid. That's what, see, you jogged my memory. The kids went nuts. She made, I think her first play, she made a tackle.
Wow.
She's playing defensive tackle or something. It was just, it was.
You also love when we gave Josh Starvasky the ball in the 1 yard.
Yeah.
Guard.
I love when those big, heavy kids kick touchdowns. He used to do it too. He started with D'Amico.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had Cade Nelson.
Yeah.
Tommy Caputo.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that.
You know, even though we talk about all the great games and everything, but some of the not so great games, like when we played Groton up in Groton a few years ago, and we were ahead by how much was it? It was like 35 to nothing.
Old Yellow came out
And
immediately.
we end up losing it, and we end up talking because the game is sort of like over already. And how are we going to entertain people for the next half hour? And
Well, I used to listen to some of the broadcasts. You guys were talking about where we're going to go to eat after.
I always do that.
yeah,
We still do that.
Oh, yeah.
We're still waiting for Mike Fontecchio to make us meatballs.
Yes.
What's your favorite place to go to? What was your favorite place?
Oh, without a doubt, the place up on the hill.
oh yeah, Wexford.
Wexford House.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we won the most money in.
No,
you know,
no,
We
it's
can play
closed
Keno.
now.
It's closed.
Yeah,
It's like Keno, and the food was always good.
Jimmy's.
other place.
Other place, Bob.
A lot of them, back then, all these places, Jay will remember, all these places stayed open and served food till midnight.
Round Round was the best.
Oh yeah,
That was the best.
It was
Yeah.
the best.
You know, still to this day, I will not step in Walgreens.
Oh,
I
really?
don't blame you, Jay. I wouldn't either.
That was the atmosphere on a Friday night
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
after a game, win or lose,
Yep.
and you had coaches and all Central Mass football
Remember the-
coaches, all of us
the
on one side and all
How
the
about
families on
marquee
the other.
During the week, would say the player of the
Yeah,
game,
oh, yeah.
the score.
Yeah.
and
We
stuff.
had posters in like 7-Eleven
It
and
was up
Yeah.
there, some of the
Yeah.
stuff we did. I'll never forget, Jay will back me up because he was there. I go to Ground Round, Kevin Biddy, Bigger that door right there.
Biddy.
He'd be like, I want cheese raviolis. Training, we're like, I want jambalaya. They didn't have it on the menu. He said it every week, I want jambalaya. And I would say, look, I want a buffalo chicken salad, and I don't want to see lettuce. So I just went all thing. And I said, we're going to give you a huge tip. I said, if my Diet Coke goes halfway, just throw it out. And it was great. And we were treated like kids.
Biddy,
Oh, God.
Evan Biddy would make Evan look small. Biddy was.
Oh, yeah.
So
Did you remember him?
No.
He was our O-line coach. We call him Biddy's Boys, was the offensive line, you
Yeah.
know. And, oh, my God.
Huge.
He was a monster.
He's a good coach. He
Well,
was-
yeah, but you would talk to him.
He would say boo.
Oh, I know.
Voice, and it was amazing, huh?
Because
I got a question for you guys. What's the best venue you guys have broadcast at? Like opposing stadium?
Oh, opposing?
venue,
Yeah, like what field? do you
Boston
like?
Garden was good, but not football, but
Oh, wow,
hockey.
yeah, I know.
The state hockey tournament.
the hockey
that must've
games
been
were great.
Local, I'd have to say the Showboat.
You like the show, but you
Yeah.
know that guy?
Yeah.
No, take the guy out of it.
The mean
All right,
face.
But the
Take the
fi- but the
Gillette
press
was
box
nice
is
if we-
amazing.
Good one? Okay.
It's amazing.
Gillette was
was
nice
good.
if we had made it on time.
What?
Yeah.
Gillette
Oh,
was
yeah,
nice
Gillette
if we
How
had
about
made it.
Doyle? Do you like Doyle? Let
Yeah,
us-
just
let us
Doyle,
know.
they feed
Doyle's
us.
always been good.
Yeah, they feed us.
feed you.
Boston Garden, I
usually.
think.
Boston
Well,
Garden for hockey.
where it is now, the new
Yeah.
Boston Garden.
must have been
Because they
fabulous.
had us, we were up in the Nesson booth last year when we were doing the girls' state,
Yeah, that was
and that was like,
Westboro, lately.
Westboro's very nice.
Yeah.
Now, Westboro's is
Lately it's
very
been good.
nice.
Oh, Assumption. Assumption was
Yeah,
beautiful.
Assumption was
Football?
great.
Yeah, it's like soft chairs. And, yeah,
South High.
South High. Out in the pouring rain,
You know what?
yelling at the ref.
We shouldn't even bring up weather.
That was,
I mean, there's been some nights that,
And to top it off, I'm getting up to go in the booth because it started to pour. And I catch my rain pants on a nail and rip the whole side of my rain pants. Another reason I don't like this league.
Remember, we went to Oakmont, we did a game.
Oh, sure.
that was cold. Bobby
We
and I were
came
up on
back,
the roof.
somebody, the bags were frozen. We
Yeah.
couldn't open them up.
Yeah, we had
Put the
icicles in our
stuff back.
beard, man.
Yeah, you couldn't even talk.
I wasn't there for
That wasn't the worst,
No.
no.
Thanksgiving Day game, what,
Thanksgiving
about
was
10
the
years
one-
ago?
The Thanksgiving Day game where it was the coldest on, I think you might have been your first year.
That's up
It
in
was either-
Massachusetts, right?
No, the one at Shrewsbury, in Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
The wind was,
And I was the only one on the roof, because I was
and
a
it
dope.
was
I
cold.
shouldn't have been up there.
Me and
And
Bobby were warm.
my brain was so,
brought
I
his
was
heater.
frozen, I couldn't talk. And they were asking me questions because I couldn't think. And they're just laughing at me. Everything that was coming out of my mouth was like garbage.
I think that was your last year. When it was, because my first year was at Wachusett.
Yeah, my last year was freezing.
Well, that must have been it then.
Freezing.
That must have been it. Oh,
Foley's good too. Foley's always been good to
Yeah,
us.
Foley was good.
You know why I like Foley? It's high.
Right.
Yeah,
Really,
you can
really
see.
You
good
can
vantage point.
see everything.
Right, true.
And some people give me a hard time about, what yard lines and stuff, but some fields you're so low, you can't see. Shepherd Hill, I hated.
Oh, yeah.
I hated going to Shepherd Hill. You couldn't even see over the players.
Grafton, too.
Grafton's the same way.
Yeah.
Grafton's the same way. You know,
No, I got, a day like this, I think about some of the kids that we've lost.
Oh, yeah.
I think of
Richie
Laurie's
Doobie.
boy.
Yeah.
Jesse.
I think of
Jesse
Cheese
Bergman.
Honorado.
Oh, right. That was the most
And
ironic
the one
thing
kid
ever.
that we always,
Oh,
God, every game will mention, because he had a skill that we don't see.
Nobody does it
very
anymore.
often. And it was Richie Doobie,
Punt return man.
punt return.
don't return
He was
them.
actually a good receiver, too.
Yeah, he was.
He was amazing.
we still say to this day, we don't know who gave out the awards that Thanksgiving game,
Milford.
but he should have gotten one.
He should
Yeah.
have.
100%.
Yeah.
Richie should have got that award.
He had two
that year.
interceptions.
Two
and-
That
interceptions,
was
yeah,
a missed-
two touchdown passes.
Missed opportunity. That was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
He was well, there's been other kids that catch the ball too, but Doobie was fearless.
He's really good.
If there was a punt, he was going to catch it. Right? We don't see that
Yeah,
anymore.
no.
Not just us, I'm talking everywhere. They
Yeah.
just run away from it.
So going back to that cold day, my last game I coached at Shrewsbury High School, This is the true story. We're down 14-0 at halftime to Wachusett, and we were 6-4, and they were 3-7. My daughter Julia is on the sideline, and she is 16 years old. I didn't tell Jay yet because I know how Jay was, my mind this was going to be my last game. But you tell me, I didn't want no Newt Rockney women for the Gippert guy.
You were going to be a principal, right?
Yeah. So I was pretty done.
Yeah.
So we're down 14-0. Julia says to my wife, looks at me, goes, I gotta go in the locker room and tell these guys, we can't lose. It's his last game. And my wife starts laughing. And that's the game that we scored on the last play of the game. And the funny story about that is I had Jack Campanelli as my quarterback. And Dimo's right on the sideline with me too. We called the play with 8 seconds left to Garrett Pacey. And as I'm calling the play, I say to him, great, if he catches it, great, we win. If not, don't worry, we'll score in the next play. He's looking at me like, what? So Matt Baccaro's next to me. He goes, there's something wrong with you. So he throws the ball right off Garrett Pacey's face. I'm clapping, no problem, let's go. And we ran 879 to Swedberg, and he caught it in the end zone. And I remember hugging Dimo goes, I can't believe we did this again. Because the week before, we had beat Sean Mahoney in the last play of the game.
Oh, right.
So
That last 45 seconds, I said, again, another game I probably gave up. There was like 45 seconds left.
And we were like 1 for 5 throwing the ball.
And
he turned into Tom Brady.
Yeah, Jack Campanelli became Tom Brady. He did.
37 seconds, a long time.
That was a great finish, yeah.
It was a great finish.
My
There's a
favorite
lot
play
of
that you
great
guys call
finishes.
was the XISO. That's my, and Billy, he gets sick of listening to me.
Oh, we're so sick
call
of
it
it.
all the time.
We are so sick of it.
Yeah.
But I used to love it. The Brian Anderson play.
Dutch Holland.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Yeah.
Puts his arm around and says, hey, 14-0 halftime at Milford Thanksgiving. Real good. I go, 21-0's better. Marc D'Amico's in the backfield, and he's blocking, and we hit a 94-yard X-ISO fade
So
for a
Anderson.
touchdown. And he goes, you're the Antichrist. I go, thanks, Dutch.
He's a
Dutch was
classic.
great. He was so smart.
You know what? I almost invited Dutch tonight.
Yeah,
He would have been. He would have been.
He came up with stuff, when the scouts, I have no idea, They'd be like, well, this guy, whatever.
I mean,
when Dutch when he got inducted into the Hall
Oh,
of Fame,
greatest speech ever.
it was
Yeah,
the
it was
greatest
speech ever.
I believe it.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
Oh, a theme.
Hall of Fame. Write that one up.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame
Place kisser.
speech that you've ever heard in your life. It was.
I'm not surprised.
It was
He
classic,
said,
wasn't it?
It was.
said
I mean,
after
can
the
you,
first
can you
game
think
they
of
lost,
another one that was as good as that?
first game
I mean,
head coach,
No.
he lost like 35 to
No.
nothing. He said, I couldn't get my hair cut in Shrewsbury anymore. He said the second game we lost like 42-3 or 6 or whatever. And he says, then I couldn't eat in Shrewsbury anymore.
That sounds like Dutch.
Oh, he was a classic.
Why am I in the Hall of Fame? I
Yeah,
don't
he said-
get this.
Yeah.
I don't understand. He
I
just
don't
kept on
understand it.
piling all the
Great guy,
dirt.
great coach.
Yeah,
He was.
absolutely.
I think the comeback, we're almost done. I think the comeback wins are the ones that stick with you the most. I remember being down in Leominster 13-0. And
At
you
halftime.
said, at halftime, you told them, the hell with this, we're gonna pound the ball, and we won 14-13.
That's Dimo. Exactly what I said.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, we're not throwing the ball one more time. No, not we didn't want to, we had confidence throwing the ball, but I was just like, we had lost Algonquin the week before. I said, hell, and then that's the game Mario really learned to go, up the middle more than outside.
Right.
And 14-13, yeah.
Yeah, you guys
St.
had a
John's
nose
game
tackle that
this
game.
year. Phenomenal. Those are the games you really remember the most. I mean, we've done a lot of games, and I know every play at every game, and you say it, and I go, oh yeah, now I remember. But
Mike Cogshaw kicking a 50
Yeah.
the
field goal.
47-yard field goal
Yeah, whatever it was.
Right.
against St. John, that was a great game too.
That was a great game.
That was the.
We scored like 30 points in the last quarter.
We only rushed for 450 yards and threw for 200. We had a terrible game.
I know.
We had 51 and almost lost. But that's so
2 minutes.
Coggeshall kicks a 44-yard field goal, which
2
might
minutes.
be the longest in Shrewsbury history. I don't know.
Who, Cogshaw?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
game.
He had the wind in his
And
back.
he's pissed at me
Didn't
too.
matter.
He's
Oh,
been-
he was?
Oh yeah. Because he's like, Coach, how come I'm throwing a Hail Mary? I said, because you know what? We're going to run a toss and get 15 yards, and you're going to kick a field goal. All right. And that's what he did.
He did.
And that was the difference of the game, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, comeback, like John said, you down 10 points, especially at St. John's, with under 6 minutes to go and come back and win. That's a great win.
We're running out of time. We only less than 2 minutes. Plans for next year, college.
Hey, I see.
I go back and visit.
Yeah.
I got my high school reunion, like 50th high school
I
reunion.
know. I just had mine last year.
Next year, God, I don't know what I'm doing next week, let alone next
I
year.
know. I hear you.
Oh,
I
thank you
just wanna
guys.
say-
Thank you guys for coming
Yeah,
tonight.
and
Appreciate
thank,
it.
and thank you for
Getting the
the
kids.
support you
Yeah.
gave us. So, I mean, I know it's not easy having kids, hey, Wednesday night, you gotta be here, 7 o'clock. I mean, you know, high school
Yeah, right.
kids, seniors, probably a lot of them, the last thing they wanna do, we appreciated everything that
Yeah,
you did
really.
for us.
Really.
You made it special
You
for the
guys,
kids.
you guys have done a fabulous job, like everybody said here. And again, 25 years, that's a long time. And again, no horse in a race, just because the love of the kids and love of the school. I love what Jay said, it's kind of put Shrewsbury on the map before, there was all this other social media stuff. I mean, people couldn't believe, when I be talking to other coaches, like, yeah, we got a show once a week, all the games are on, and they do play-by-play. They go, what?
Yeah.
Are you
I've heard you
kidding?
say that more than once.
No,
Yeah.
all the time. I couldn't believe it, so.
And we did have a horse in the race the whole 25 years.
Yeah, we did.
He happens to be sitting right
Yeah.
there.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah,
He's like one of our kids. He is.
You know, one more word of thanks to the guy that really was the
Billy?
backbone. No, the backbone to what we've done.
Mark Serra.
Mark Serra, who's sitting in the control room right there. Mark, without you, we couldn't have done any of this. You're the one that taught us how to do it. And now you're our camera guy, and a word of great big thanks from all of us to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
you very
Thank you,
much.
Mark.
We started with cameras as big as the
Oh,
one
yeah.
Liz is using.
Yeah, on our
And
shoulders.
now- on our shoulder. Now we're transmitting
Yeah.
over satellite on this box that's about this size.
Yeah,
right?
it's like it's Monica stuff. That's why.
God, no.
We had cans and a string.
We had that for a while.
But thank you guys very much. for
Thank
all
you.
you do.
We're gonna miss you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
we're still gonna come.
Oh, you'll hear us in the stand. Yeah, John.
What are you doing? Let him play!
Come on.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again.
Thanks
all
for
of
coming,
you, my
spending
buddies.
your Wednesday night with us.
I know, exactly.
And we'll see you on
Pick your
next
balls.
Thursday
Pick
when
your
we
balls.
go 7-4 against
Get your ball.
for our final score against Washington.
Right there. Awesome.
Good phone.